Many of us have a dominant hand, but few of us truly know what our dominant hand is. Have you ever thought about the interesting theory of hand dominance, which claims that each of us has a preferred hand for performing certain actions? This fascinating concept leads us to question our daily habits. Did you know perhaps that every individual has a dominant hand and that their character and spiritual peculiarities significantly influence everyone's life? Make yourself comfortable and listen carefully to the Zen story we are about to tell you, and we will explore together the secrets of the dominant hand and its implications on our lives. In this story, we will travel together to discover the secrets of the dominant hand, exploring its implications on our personality, our destiny, and our spiritual path. We will have the opportunity to discover how our dominant hand can influence our psyche, way of doing things, and therefore our personality. In this way, we will learn how to best use them to achieve our own internal balance. We will discover how the dominant hand can influence the way we think, act, and relate to the world. We will learn about the characteristics associated with each hand and how to best use them to achieve balance and inner peace. So stay until the end of the video, because not only will you discover your dominant hand and its secrets, but you will understand why it is so important for your inner growth to be aware of this information. And furthermore, in the final part of the story, you will receive practical advice to make the most of its potential and live a more conscious and harmonious life. But before continuing, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to stay updated when we publish new content for your spiritual growth. In an ancient Buddhist temple located among the mountains of a remote Japanese region, lives the elderly monk Ise, famous for his wisdom and profound knowledge of the human soul. Every evening at dusk, he used to gather his disciples to give them teachings about life and the path to enlightenment. That evening, however, the air was filled with an unusual excitement. The disciples, intrigued by a theme that Ise had mentioned in the previous days, hurried to take their places around the master. "Master," asked Kan, the youngest and most impetuous disciple, "you promised us that you would reveal the secrets behind our dominant hand. Would you like to talk to us about it tonight and reveal the truth to us?" A smile lit up Ise's wrinkled face. "The truth, Kan, is never easy to grasp," he replied in a calm voice. "And yet, it is right before our eyes, like the hand we use to perform everyday actions." With slow and solemn gestures, Ise invited the disciples to close their eyes and concentrate on their breathing. "First," he said, "you need to find out what your dominant hand is. To do this, always keeping your eyes closed, imagine having to grab a pen or any object placed on the table in front of you. Whose hand spontaneously reaches out to do this?" The disciples obeyed in silence, some with frowns, others with a look of surprise on their faces. After a few minutes, they opened their eyes and turned them to the teacher, eager to know the meaning of their choice. "The dominant hand," Ise explained, "is not a simple preference. It represents a window into our deepest being and reveals aspects of our personality and our spiritual path." The monk stood up and, with broad and theatrical gestures, pointed to the sky with his right hand and the earth with his left. "The right hand," he stated, "is associated with yang, masculine energy, action, rationality, and the future. It is the hand that allows us to build, create, and shape the world around us. The left hand," he continued, "is instead associated with yin, feminine energy, intuition, emotion, and the past. It is the hand that allows us to welcome, receive, and nourish our soul." And obviously, as you may have understood, the dominant hand is not linked to our sex. A man may have a dominant left hand, while a woman may have a right hand. At this point, Ise turned to his disciples who, like him, had the dominant right hand. "You who use your right hand to perform daily actions," he said, "are people naturally predisposed to action and command. You have an analytical and rational mind. You are skilled at solving problems and making decisions. You are future-oriented and have a strong drive to achieve your goals. However, warned the monk, the right hand can also be a symbol of rigidity and excessive control. Be careful not to let rationality dominate you, not to suffocate your emotions, and not to lose sight of the present. While the disciples, intrigued and fascinated by the topic, wondered about the secrets hidden behind their dominant hand, the master turned to those who had just discovered that they had a left dominant hand. "You who use your left hand," he said, "are people endowed with great intuition and sensitivity. You have a creative and imaginative mind. You are able to grasp nuances and understand the emotions of others. Unlike your friends who like to use their right hand, you are oriented towards the past and have a deep sense of connection with your roots." However, warned the monk, the left hand can also be a symbol of passivity and excessive dependence on emotions. Be careful not to let yourself be overwhelmed by doubts, not to lose sight of rationality and not the reality of the present. "Master, I see," the disciple asked, "according to your vast experience, which is the best dominant hand, the right one or the left one?" "One hand is not better than the other," replied the monk. "Like a butterfly emerging from its cocoon, the dominant hand represents our deepest essence, unfolding the wings of our destiny and character. There is no one hand better than the other. Both are precious gifts, like two flowers blooming on the same branch, each with its own unique beauty and scent. The right hand is like the sun that illuminates our path, guides us towards action, rationality, and the future, pushing us to build our world with tenacity and determination. The left hand is like the moon that illuminates our soul. It allows us to understand, welcome, and nourish our interiority, connecting us with the past and our roots. And always remember that balance between the two hands is the key to inner harmony. Like a dancer dancing gracefully, we must learn to use both hands with awareness and fluidity. The dominant hand is not an immutable destiny. Like a river changing course, we can learn to use our non-dominant hand to expand our horizons and discover new possibilities. Training the non-dominant hand, in fact, will help us modify and make our thoughts more elastic in the way in which our brain processes the events we experience every day. Listen to the silence of your non-dominant hand. It has much to teach you about your sensitivity, intuition, and inner wisdom. And don't be afraid to be different. Your dominant hand is a unique gift that makes you special and precious in the eyes of the world. The dominant hand is a bridge that connects the body to the soul. By knowing it better, you can strengthen your connection with your deepest self. The journey to discover this topic is a journey of unprecedented personal growth. I see continued his teaching with a parable. Just as a bird needs two wings to fly, so man needs both hands to achieve balance and harmony in his life. Therefore, it doesn't matter if you are right-handed or left-handed. What matters is learning to use both hands in a conscious and complementary way. Only in this way can we be complete. Remember that the right hand allows us to build the external world. The left hand allows us to cultivate our internal world. Only when we have learned to master both hands with wisdom can we achieve true enlightenment. The disciples listened to the master's words with deep attention. Their minds were full of new questions and a renewed desire to explore the secrets of their deepest nature. I.C. invited them to put into practice the teachings received through meditation and introspection. Now that you know what your dominant hand is, he said, don't stop there. Get to know your non-dominant hand, its qualities and its secrets. Only in this way will you be able to achieve inner union and true harmony, exhorted the monk. But what does this story teach us? To reflect on the duality present in our nature and on the importance of finding a balance between the two opposing energies that live there. The dominant hand in this context becomes a symbol of this duality, representing action and rationality on the one hand, and intuition and emotion on the other. Master I.C.'s words echoed in the silence of the temple, like an echo that was lost among the cherry trees in bloom. The disciples, with eyes full of amazement and gratitude, shook hands, aware that they had just embarked on a journey of inner discovery. Their hands, previously practical and banal tools, were transfigured into intrigue, while the disciples stood up as a sign of respect for the master and prepared to return to their home. During a moment of quiet and deep reflection, it could have happened that someone, immersed perhaps in the very fabric of the duality that characterizes each of us, a sudden clarity has manifested itself, illuminating the path of the truth seeker. In fact, the very essence of that response, its core of primordial importance, manifests itself in a reflection that extends far beyond the surface. The dominant hand, rather than simply being considered as an extremity of the body, reveals itself as the means through which we are able to plumb the depths of our existence, fully understand our innermost desires, and embrace the true authenticity of our lives. Through self-awareness, we can start a path towards lasting inner peace, achieving authentic balance and complete satisfaction in our existence.